Here's what I hear often is that we have way too much on our plates. And there's always that list of proactive things, right? That we're trying to get to desperately. If we could tick one of those off a week, we're like excited, right? And we just keep moving them and moving them to the next week or the next week. What you're talking about makes complete sense, right? I talk to other C-suite executives that say, I have to spend more time close to the customer. If I'm not actually talking to the customer, and you're the chief growth officer, right? Like you said, expanding customer relationships, right? That's a whole nother area that you could devote time to. How do you prioritize? And then, because at the end of the day, to make those decisions is the decision not to do something else, right? Because we can't do it all. So I would love to just kind of hear a little bit about how you rationalize or how you prioritize your time for the things that you think are the most important.
Yeah, it's a good question. I know in some of our prep, we talked a little bit about some of the sports background, right? And I did play hoops in college and still love it and still follow it and still am fascinated with it. And I do have a little bit of a mental model, like, the book Moneyball stands out as one of my favorite books of all time. So as I think about investments and sort of internal things and people and new opportunities and things we go after, I do try to apply, that sort of sports analytics, Moneyball angle to the work that we do every day from a personal perspective. And sort of what's my personal framework on that? I think number one is alignment across your executive team, across your board on what you're after, right? So we have really clear alignment of what we're headed into our fiscal year in April, of what we're after for next year. Beyond that, we have our 3-year roadmap and our plan for 3 years. Beyond that, we've been thinking a little bit longer term and longer horizon. Nowadays, I think anything outside of 3 years, the pace that things move is that it's a full there, but it's really hard to predict outside of that. So if we have agreement on that as a team, which we do, and we're lockstep and we're all rowing against that, then the next thing you start to do is say, okay, if these things are true, or if I need to make them true, how do I then do that? And what are the bets I'm going to make against that? Some of it's funny, right? Like on the sales side, I put myself back into the individual contributor 2016, 2017 timeframe in my mindset. And it was go hit a quota, right? Like you have a $5 million quota or a $6 million quota. And what is your revenue walk to get to that quota? And, I used to do this every month where I would be thinking about, okay, has my sales math changed? Do I have to have more conversations or less or grow the pipeline? When I wasn't a more individual contributor, I was never a volume based. Like that was not my style. I actually didn't carry a huge pipeline. It was a little bit smaller, but I prided myself on being able to close at a higher percentage than, some of the reps that I had worked with or seen in the market. So I tell you all this to say, right? Like if you have your assumptions and you have your plan and you're constantly working your plan, then you can constantly be adjusting and evaluating, are the bets we are making the right bets? Is there a perfect formula? No. Like, do I feel like I have this nail all of the time? No. And I tell the teams this all the time, right? Like we get into a lot of analysis paralysis where you're now taking a month to make a decision where your two paths, one might have you 3 to 5 percentage points better if you make that decision. But if you wait a month, that gain that you might have gotten is probably lost, right? So it's being able to say, okay, here are the assumptions we're working under. We have the alignment we need to. Here's the bets we're going to make. And here's metrics we're going to track to change course if we need to. And if I can do that and I can make, the right 3 to 5 decisions a week, that's how I know I'm in a good groove and sort of prioritizing well. I find that if I'm making 50 decisions a week or, a number of a giant magnitude, I'm probably too far in the weeds. I'm not empowering the team enough. And then my prioritization work is definitely off. So I know it's not like very concrete, but I think the sort of numbers and the advice I'd give other people is get yourself to a place where you understand like the most important decisions and you have to move week over week, which then leads to day by day, right? And all of it's with that sort of broader alignment that if you don't have as a leadership team, you should be fighting every day as an executive to get to. I'm lucky where actually we have that big picture alignment. So a lot of my work then is a little bit more downstream. Not to say we're not challenging those assumptions every day as a leadership team and all that stuff, but it gets a little bit easier when you feel like you're in a good operating cadence at the executive team level.